there's a little bit of a background on Marcella. She's a local attorney. So you're going to get to know a lot of information from her throughout this presentation, and hopefully you'll benefit from the information she has to share with you guys. Whatever scary misconception you may have about attorneys, just forget about that. Marcella is super, super easy to speak to and reach out to.
So what is the benefit of consulting with a trademark lawyer?
Oh, I love this question because I think it's so easy to take advantage of Google, right? And so we think if we have Google, we have the answers to everything, including answers to legal questions. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes we need a personalized approach, right? I mean, Google's not going to give us a very specific answer to our specific situation. And sometimes that's what we need. And on top of that, there is a saying in the entrepreneurial world that says, the more you learn, the more you earn. And that's super important because as entrepreneurs, you're going to be figuring out a lot of information. The puzzle never ends. So again, to answer the question, what is the benefit of speaking to a trademark lawyer? If you don't know anything about trademark law, then you're going to benefit from talking to a trademark lawyer, because no matter who you speak to in an industry that you are not familiar with, you're going to have take-home points. And I always say in my YouTube videos, my goal is that you learn more than you knew before you started watching. So if you can talk to me and learn just even one single thing, then you've already scored.
All right. So what are the major risks of not having a trademark?
In a nutshell, for somebody who doesn't have a trademark, you're basically relying on something that we call common law rights. Common law rights mean that you're allowed to use your trademark and you basically have rights in the geographical area where you are using the trademark, as opposed to somebody who has registered with the USPTO and has nationwide protection over their mark. So let's say I open up XYZ Burgers, right around the corner, but I never register it. Well, I am only protected in the geographical area where I do business, as opposed to registering with the USPTO and having kind of like national protection, a national dominion, so to speak. If I had registered in the same way McDonald's did, or Burger King, or Wendy's, or any of these big chains. So I mean, in a nutshell, that's basically what it is you have a smaller power than somebody who has registered through the USPTO.
So the next question we wanted to ask you, Marcella, is what tips do you have for anyone interested in starting a business?
I think it all depends on what you know and what you don't know. So the best tips for you might be based on either enhancing what you do know and going deep into what you do know and perfecting that and making it a process and allowing it to become like a system so that you don't have to exchange time for money. And I also want to add that reading books is very, very important. And I think that having at least one person that you look up to also in business is really important, whether that's someone in your community or even somebody that's on social media. Find somebody that is where you want to be.
What are some obstacles you've faced that you think we can learn from?
When I was taking my last law school final, I found out that I was expecting my first child. And so you can imagine that's a huge, it felt like a blow, because it's like I'm a week away from taking my last final exam. I don't have time to think about, taking care of another human right now, because then I'm going to have to take the bar exam in 3 or 4 months. That was very challenging for me to understand and wrap my head around. So I think that was a very big challenge. You go with the motions, and there's another saying, nothing worth having is going to come easy, or something like that. That's all that matters. Just cross the finish line.
How do you manage all three? You're a trademark lawyer, you're a podcaster, YouTuber, entrepreneur. Feel like it's a lot on your plate. How do you go about managing all three of all of those projects that you have going on in your life right now?
It's not easy. To be honest with you, I think it's just important to prioritize what's really important to you. And for me, it's definitely my kids always. I focus on the things that I really enjoy and that make me happy and that bring me comfort, really.
What's like the certain extent of, like, as an artist, like you're obviously not trying to copy other people, but what is the extent, like, you have to change something in order for it to not be the same as another company?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so what you're referring to is actually copyright law, not trademark law. And it basically is like the life of the owner plus 70 years or something like that. And that's how long the copyright lives. So if you wanted to recreate something without infringing, there is no specific rule that says this is what you can do to make something similar without infringing. There's no such thing. But the advice or the tip that we normally, are allowed to say is you just get inspired by pieces of it and then create something of your own.
Marcella, a question I have is I'm interested in going to business law school when I finish my bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
Besides establishing relationships and getting to know your colleagues, what kind of advice could you give me regarding professional experience? So once I do finish the bar exam, I have like a leg up.
If you have some kind of an idea of like what you want to do, I think you should start networking with those law firms already and just send them an email and start volunteering, even if it's like an hour or two, or ask them how you can help them even virtually. And that way, when it's time to do your internship and maybe even get hired, you'll already have a foot in the door.
I was thinking of maybe like corporate, something to do with on the corporate side of it, maybe dealing with real estate and trying to get those legal aspects out of the way so that they can purchase.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe making a list of where you're going to go to law school. And then after that, well, what law firms are in the area of that law school? Who can I call? Also, maybe figuring out where you fit in. Make a list of what your value add is. Like, do you speak Spanish? Is it a male-centered firm that is maybe like a white male-centered firm that is looking for more diversity? Maybe you can be that, that tool that unlocks their Hispanic clientele. You have to figure out where your value lies also. And then you see where, again, building that puzzle, like where do you fit in the best so that someone wants to give you a yes?
So I just want to ask, when I was scrolling through like your newsfeed, I saw something where you were interviewing someone about the importance of how a trademark can help an e-commerce brand, specifically in Amazon. Could you elaborate a little bit about the benefits of having a trademark when you're trying to put your product in a specific marketplace, such as like Amazon, or maybe you're trying to sell your product to Walmart or something along those lines?
Once you get to this level of like notoriety, I mean, there's going to be a lot of knockoffs. And so that's going to translate to lost sales, lost clients, lost business. If you don't really want to be in a position like that, or if you want to be in a position where you can leverage the trademark and say, hey, I own this brand, you need to cut it out, then you need to have a trademark. Because without it, you're not going to have much leverage to be able to push back on these people that are trying to knock you off.